with you again today on this beautiful Wednesday day. Thank you to, once again, the people that reached out to me during the week and the ones that have actually sent me emails today, and I'm sure some people will actually send some questions in the comment box and we can go from there. So today I actually wanted to start with, hope everybody's well, but I wanted to actually start with house cleansing. I've been getting a lot of comments and questioning PMs, that kind of stuff, about house cleansing and things, and today I just wanted to run through quickly before I answer the questions one of the best ways I've found to actually cleanse houses. I've done quite a few, and things that I've found the best way to do it with. So when it comes to house cleansing, I always recommend sage for your first house cleansing. I recommend the white sage for your first time, whether it's the loose stuff or the sage stick, only because the first time you ever do a house cleanse, there's usually a lot of crap in there, yeah? Even if you are renting, please sage your house. Okay, I give the space a sage. Even if I'm camping, I give the little campground a spray that I'm camping in, because other people have camped there, they've had their days there, they've had their nights there and stuff like that. You want to clear out that energy as well. Hotel rooms, oh my goodness, I always make sure I do hotel rooms. Yet with hotel rooms, let me get it for you. With hotel rooms, I carry the cleansing spray because there's smoke alarms in hotel rooms, and smoke alarms tend not to like sage because you are burning it. Okay, so with the white sage, you light the end, or you light the burn. The loose stuff, you actually find a heat-proof pot, so you don't burn yourself, which is fantastic. It's not a good idea to burn yourself. And then you blow out the flame, and you've got the smoke. So as you're moving around your house, it's best to start at the front door, and you're going to go clockwise around your home. Hello everybody, going clockwise around your home. So that means that if you have cupboards in your bedrooms, open the cupboards. If you have cupboards in the kitchen, for your first time, especially for your first time, open the kitchen cupboards, get the smoke in everywhere you can. I even get under the beds, like as in just like give a little bit of a blow under the bed. Everywhere in your house, going clockwise, get the sage smoke into that. What that does is it clears out any and old negative energies that are in the space. It also gets rid of any of the dead, crossed over spiritual world that should not be in your home. It gets rid of them, okay? The spray does exactly the same thing, as I said, but you can use the spray in hotel rooms as maintenance, as you know, to give your bedroom a quick going over. I've heard that people give it a light spray over their children's bed and over their children just as they're going to sleep. Apparently it calms their the spray also grounds you, so it's not necessarily just a room cleansing, but also spraying it over your body actually really cleanses your aura. Really grounding, very relaxing, especially after a hard day's work, or even when you're just getting home and you want to get rid of the workload, like your work day. It's a great neutral space to go funk and know that you're actually home and you can go into your home energies. So I recommend the spray for hotel rooms and maintenance, but your very first time you're saging, please get like a sage stick or use your loose leaf. The other thing I use for maintenance is I just use like the incense white sage. That's fantastic as well, just for maintenance. So anytime after we do a reading or after we do a healing, this is what we're cleansing the room with. And at the beginning and the end of the day, we actually go through and we use the loose stuff, the good stuff, okay? But for maintenance in between, we use this. I really recommend doing house cleansing at least once a month. If you've got small children or a lot of activity of like people in and out of your home, lots of visitors, that kind of stuff, you've got kids that have kids and, you know, friends over and that kind of stuff, I'd actually recommend doing it like at least 2 to 3 times a month. It keeps the energies at a higher vibration for the whole household. I also gauge off animals and the kids in the house as well. If they're starting to get like a little bit testy with each other and there's just a little bit of a tension, or you've got dogs barking and that kind of stuff, or cats just doing weird stuff, I always recommend giving a sage. So I'm going to pop this in as well. I've also found using sandalwood and rose is fantastic for releasing male negative energy and female negative energy. So your sandalwood is releasing male negative energy and your rose is releasing female negative energy. When I feel pulled to going around with that, I'll grab some sticks out and what do I do with my white sage? And the white sage, and I'll go around with the 3. Just adding that little extra little bit to get rid of stuff in your space that's not supposed to be there. But I use these as maintenance. Maintenance. But when you're first starting out, please, as I said, please use the white sage. So after you have saged, you can also use Palo Santo. You've got Palo Santo in the incense sticks as well as the actual stick. I only use Palo Santo when I'm drawn to it. Like I'll ask if a space needs that little bit of extra zhuzhing. Some people love Palo Santo, some people really don't. It's just it does the same thing as sage. It's just a different smell and it's just a different level. If I find there's a place that's being a little bit niggly and not clearing up as nicely as it should with just sage, even with the sandalwood and rose, because it happens sometimes, you get stronger spirits on the other side that are causing issues and pains, I'll whack some Palo Santo in there just to kick it all in the bum. Or kick them in the bum and kick them out. But Palo Santo is fantastic as well. So once you have saged your space, as I said, going around clockwise, you're going along the wall space as best you can, opening cupboards, you're going clockwise in and out and right around the whole of your house, okay? And then what you're doing is you're actually going to be using selenite as the gridding in the 4 corners of your home. So we make up little packs of selenite that come with little 5 pieces, I'm hoping you can see that, 5 pieces of selenite in the pack. The 5 pieces go in the 4 corners of your home. I tend to say to blue tack them in the 4 corners of your home. I have had a few ladies that have got amazing partners and husbands, and they've actually crawled into the ceiling space and actually popped them in the corners. If you've got that option, fantastic. If not, you can just blue tack them in the corners of your rooms. If you've got little tackers, like little kids, or I've only ever heard of one dog eating the selenite, like as in the blue tack and the selenite. Clearly needs some cleansing inside. But pop them up higher if you can, maybe up in the top of the cornice area. But these go in the 4 corners of your home, and then the 5th piece goes in the center of your home. I always recommend to do each bedroom separately. So you do your whole home, and then you grid your bedrooms separately. And any bedrooms you have in the house, only for the fact that the bedrooms are a different energy. The bedrooms are a different space. The energies in the bedroom is for relaxing, it's for sleeping, it's for downtime. So I always recommend do the whole house and then do the bedrooms. If you have a 2-story house, you can just grid the bottom of the house and that actually goes up to the top. Yet I like to do it really thoroughly, and I'll actually grid the bottom and I'll actually go up and I'll actually grid the top as well as the bedrooms. You know, the selenite coming in the little packs is not hard to use. You know, you can little pack, we've got them online, we've got them in the shop, so simple. It's a lot better cost effective than trying to get big rods and all the rest of it. But what the selenite does is after you have saged, you're then putting the selenite grid in. And what that does is it stops the ones that are being a pain in the bum to you, or draining, or causing energies issues, or causing disturbances in the house, or There can be some very odd ones. What that does, it stops them coming back in. So they're not allowed to come back into your house. It's like locking the door, like energetic door to them. They're not allowed to come back in the home once you've actually gridded with selenite. Okay? Now, I get asked the question, does that mean my guides that are supposed to be with me get locked out? No. It just means that the ones that are meant to be with you in your home helping you are allowed in. The ones that are being a pain in the bum and causing an energy disturbance or draining or doing weird shit with electricity and modems and all that kind of stuff, they get kicked out of the house and locked out. Okay? Some people have asked me if I have to remove a piece of selenite next time I sage. Look, I don't. I see it as sometimes they come in with, like, if you've got people coming in and out and kids and that kind of stuff, the ones that shouldn't be in the space can actually come in with a person. So they can come in through with a physical human, so they can get out easily with the sage, even if you've got your grid in there, because it's really coming down to intention and actually kicking the ones that are not meant to be in your house out. So do not stress about that's not going to let loved ones in. It's not going to allow the ones that are meant to be with you in. They will be able to get in if they need to, and to actually to be with you, but you're locking out the ones that are not meant to be with you. The other thing that's also fantastic is using a little bit of pre-night. So we come out in little pre-nights, little packs. I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, yeah, there you go, pre-night. Little pre-night pieces also in the four corners of your home. And I also recommend little black tourmaline pieces in the four corners of your home. She's not gonna, oh, there she goes. In the four corners of your home, because what that does, the pre-night is like another level of not allowing negativity in your home, and the black tourmaline acts as like a dehooker, so it kicks out the negativity as well. Anytime I do a house cleanse, I always use selenite, black tourmaline, and pre-night. Sometimes I'm drawn to using different crystals also in the corners, but it depends on the location and what's actually going on in that house. Because I found that not many houses are the same. They've always got something different going on. Once again, I'll add the link to how to cleanse your home after this, but I really wanted to go through the products that I recommend using and how to do it, because I'm getting a lot of questions about house cleansing. So I hope that helps. Okay, so I'm going to go now to the emails that were actually sent to me. The first email I have is from Jo, and she's asking, has Spirit got any advice or guidance in regards to my home, work or career options, love, any hot dates, how cute, or anything regarding my son? Okay, so I'm just going to break this down a little bit. What advice does Spirit have for her home? So it feels like to me, Jo, that the outside of the house needs to have a little bit of a sage. You can also sage the outside of the house similar to the inside. You go around. I tend to recommend people do the inside of the home and then get that all gridded up, and then walk out to the outside and actually sage and actually get the outside gridded up with the same crystals. It just feels like the outside of the home needs a little bit of zhuzhing. This is for Jo. Inside the house, inside the house doesn't feel too bad, though it feels like to me this feels like some kind of furniture. If you move some kind of furniture around, it's going to give it a better flow. It feels like there's furniture blocking the flow or something of the home. Not sure what that is. Maybe you can like email me or send me a message and let me know what exactly that is, but I think you'll actually know what I'm talking about once you're aware of what I'm talking about. But it feels like there's some kind of furniture that needs to be moved in the house. Apart from that, the house doesn't feel too bad. I think it could actually do with a little bit of a saging around, but it feels like more like the outside of the house really needs to have a sage. And my questioning would be is, has anything moved? Have you done gardening? Have you actually gridded outside? because it just feels like the outside of the house needs a little bit of zhuzhing. I'm curious too if you've actually gridded your outside of your house with pre-night, because it feels like there's just some negativity crap coming through that in that respect. I would also, if you haven't done it, I would also recommend gridding the outside of your home with adventurine. That seems to be green adventurine. That feels like it's going to be I don't know, a reverser or a helper in that space with the outside of the house, because that's not, it's not, it's just disturbing. Like it's just the outside of the house is just disturbing. So give it a sage. As I said, making sure you've got selenite, tourmaline, pre-night, and popping some maybe green adventurine, but just give it a good sage, and that'll actually help the home and move some furniture. But I'm not sure. It feels like more like the living room to me, not so much the bedrooms or that kind of stuff. It just feels like more like the living room area. But it feels like there's some kind of furniture that needs to be moved. Have you gotten furniture? Have you got new furniture or something that's like maybe secondhand, or you got given furniture from somebody? Quite often that can hold on to energies and cause issues in a space as well. Let me know what that is, but it feels like there's some kind of a furniture move stuff that needs to happen. Advice and guidance when it comes to work or career options. They're saying that there's an option out there that you're ignoring, or there's an option out there that you don't want to do, or there's like you're ignoring. So I'm not sure what that is, but maybe look at the one that you're ignoring, because it feels like that's something to learn in that space with the one that you're ignoring. So let me know what that means. Love life, any hot dates? Well, I hope you're talking person hot looking, so because at the moment in Melbourne you're not going to get a lot of hot stuff or hot weather. Any hot dates? One thing they are saying is it feels like there's a gentleman sniffing around. They're saying to avoid him or to not go down that path. So I'm not sure what that's got to do with, but they're saying like he's sniffing around and to not go down that path. Any dates coming for you? It feels like there's some kind of avoidance factor when it comes to receiving the ideal partner for yourself. I feel like there's an option of a date coming sort of within the next month or so, but I just don't think he's going to be what you really want, because it feels like there's some kind of resistance there with actually receiving the gentleman, the guy that you would actually really like to have. My question too would also to be is if you actually done a man list or a future partner list. It's amazing when you actually put down what you really love in a partner, what actually can present and come to you, because quite often, as you know, you can get into the negative of what you don't want, and when you're in the negative of what you don't want, that's what you attract, and then you're not happy. So popping down in a positive way of actually the partner that you would actually like. But remember to also be very specific with the fact that you want this person to actually grow with you. You want that person to be able to grow within themselves. You want communication. Look at those kind of things as well, not just like cute eyes. Cute eyes are going to be there, but you also want personality, and you want somebody that's actually going to grow and nurture you and love you and support you. So yeah, I do see one coming, but I don't think he's going to be what you want. Anything regarding your son? Is he stopped wearing his donut? It feels like he's doing much better than last time I tuned in to your son, Joe. It feels like he's doing a lot better, a lot more stable, a lot more stable, calm. But it just feels like he's either not wearing his donut, like he's in his crystal donut, or they need to be cleansed or looked after a little bit more, because it just feels like the other side are just a little bit too close to him. So they're standing a little bit too close, they're annoying him a little bit too close, and because they're too close, it's like it's disturbing him a little bit, which he's not liking. So have a look into that. Let me know how that goes. She's also asking, this is for Joe, my pendulum keeps giving me false answers. Tricky little things, pendulums. They're saying to me it doesn't feel like it's cleansed. It feels like it's at its capacity to work. So I'd really give it a really good cleanse. Oh, that's interesting. I would actually pop it in like a container full of dirt for a little bit, not outside, like as in go get a container, go and get the dirt and bring that inside the house, and pop it in some dirt while you're not using it, because it feels like it's holding a little bit too much energies. I know where you're using it like a crap load there for a while. It just feels like it needs a little bit of clearing. The other thing that's really important to do too is before you start using a pendulum is actually place the bubble around the pendulum and then a bubble around you. So just for an example, I've got, this is not a pendulum, but I can still use your necklace as a pendulum. So what you're doing is you're energetically placing a bubble around your pendulum, and then you're placing an energetic bubble around you, and then that's when you can start asking your questions. Please show me a clear yes. And for me, clear yeses are always like in a circle. Please show me a clear no. It's already going to that. Yeah. And then that's when you can ask your questions. But it feels like it needs like dirting. It needs some loving. Hope that helps. Let me know how you go with that. Because I always love hearing how the information's actually helped. So my next question is from Belinda. She sent this to me as a PM via Facebook. So if you're wanting to ask questions, feel free to pop a question there. So her question is, I think I have a spirit in my house. I keep seeing like shadows in my peripheral. Peripheral? It's a tricky word, isn't it? Can you possibly tell me anything about it? Okay, so Belinda, let me just have a look into your house. Okay. Okay. So what they're saying is, I actually see an older gentleman that's actually walking around your house. It's like, I don't know, it's like you went and visited a hospital, or you went and visited an old people's home or a dementia ward, or something like that, and you've picked him up because he's liked the energy. It feels like of one of your children or somebody that's younger than you, picked up that energy of the person and actually brought it into your home. And what's happening is it's like he doesn't want to leave, but he knows that's not the space for him. So it's like he's a little bit confused. I see him as an older gentleman. So it's like he's a little bit confused in your home, and he's sort of wandering around, trying to get help. Best way to help him. Best way to help him. Because I know he can be a little bit stubborn. My suggestion would be I would actually suggest giving your house a sage, but before you start actually having a conversation with him, even if it feels like you're just talking to the air, he will listen. It feels like he's like a veteran of some kind, so it feels like he did participate in wars, like he was part of wars. So it's like he's a little bit low in hearing. So it's not going to make a difference whether you say this out loud or in your mind, but just to let him know that your understanding, this is really important, that you're understanding that he's feeling a little bit lost and that he doesn't want to leave, yet he also knows that this is not the place for him, and that I'd actually recommend calling in the angel that pops into your head, Archangel Raphael or Archangel Michael, to come down and actually escort him to another place that's actually going to be more supportive to him on the other side, because it feels like he's just a little bit lost, and he just liked the he liked the energy of who you are and who your family is, and that will actually help him. And then, you know, count to 10, 15, allow that to happen. You may not see this, you may not know this. Some people feel it. Some people can feel the energy difference and the energy change. And then give your house a sage, and as I said, make sure you're gridding it with a selenite, yeah. And then that way, that kind of stuff can't come in. Though the other side of it is too, is sometimes you do get older people that are passed away on the other side, and they do like your energies, and they're just a little bit lost, and they will follow you because they know intuitively that if they follow you into your home and disturb your home, that you will reach out and ask for help, which then gets you the help to help them. They're tricky little things on the other side. But yeah, give that a go, and that feels like that'll actually clear up big time. Just checking in to see if there's anything else in your home that needs some loving. Belinda, I'd also recommend using a lemon. I'll pop the link with the house cleansing stuff to use a lemon, because it feels like there's some negativity bullshit going on as well. It feels like from family, work kind of stuff. It feels like maybe your partner, if you've got a partner, it feels like a partner, is also going through some negative bullshit as well. So just pop the lemon into your home, and that'll actually make it a big difference as well. Oh, they're also popping in for you, Belinda, to clap the corners. Clapping the corners means that after you've saged and after you've gridded, what you do is you go into the corner of your home, in each room of the corner of your home, and what you do is you just stand there and you actually clap. Yeah, and what you'll find is the energy will, like the clapping will be quite dull, and then as you're clapping more, the energy will start breaking up, and the stagnant energy will break up in the corners. Giving your house a clap, it does, depending on the size of your house, it can take a little bit, but it's really beneficial because it's breaking up all the stagnant energy that's in the corners. You can use like a singing bowl, you can use a little bell dinger-dingers, but everybody's usually got hands, and you can just stand in the corner and give it a clap. But Belinda, give that a go, and that actually will help that older gentleman, because as I said, he knows he's not supposed to be there, but it's like he doesn't want to leave because he's just doesn't know where he'll end up going. Yeah, hope that's gonna help. Let me know. Okay, so Lauren is the next one that actually sent me an email. Remember, you can send me an email at any time to Q&A@HappinessHeals.com.au. They're usually the first ones that I answer, and then I get to questions on the people send me through that. So Lauren, this is you. Your question is, I'm going back to the start of this year. I had lots of signs telling me big change was going to be happening. Constantly see 11 everywhere. Anytime I see 11 or double numbers, it usually tends to mean that you're on the right track. What you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're doing is you're actually on the right track. Just keep going. You all have all the love and support. Just keep going. I couldn't see what as I thought I had everything stable. Okay, so she couldn't see what the big change was, but she was getting hints. Why did this change happen for me? And when I wasn't... Whoa. Sorry, guys. I haven't actually read this email yet. Okay, so going back to the start of the year, I had lots of signs telling me a big change was going to happen. I couldn't see what it was. I thought I had everything stable. Why did this change happen for me when it wasn't something I saw coming in my plans at all? Ooh, okay. So Lauren, the reality of it is sometimes we're just human, and sometimes shit happens that we don't actually see, and sometimes it's actually best for us to not see it, because if we do see it, we have the option then to do something different to change the outcome. So as a human, we are not always privy to everything that's going to happen. Some things are designed in our contract as a human to happen no matter what. whether we see it or we don't see it. But as I said, sometimes when we do see it coming, we can actually do things to change it, and that's not how it's actually supposed to be. Anything that happens in our system that is a bit of a shock, or it totally derails us, is usually something that's we've actually set up as a higher level to happen in this lifetime, as our lessons to learn. Sometimes they're not always smooth and easy, yet unfortunately it's usually through the shit stuff and the really hard space you go through where you get the biggest breakthroughs and the most knowledge and lessons and learning and changes to be made from. Yeah. The other side of it is too, is they're popping into my head, is you can't control everything. The reality of life is that nothing's in our control really. All of us we've got is actually being able to learn tools so we can respond to situations as opposed to reacting and losing our shit, but to respond to situations and actually have control of our actions and our responses. But the reality of it is we actually have no control over our lives. If we've set our lives up to learn a lot of lessons, they're going to come and happen for us either way. The thing that's popping into my head is the saying. I think it's a Mexican saying. Don't quote me. I think it's a Mexican saying. But the saying is basically what is meant for you will find you. So even if you have it all planned out and everything's all on track, there's usually something that will come and actually throw a spanner in the works if you've got something to learn from this situation. They are saying they're saying to look at it in a different way or in a different light, because quite often we can get so focused on what's not working and focused on the shit and the little square box of how our brains think. But remember, nothing has a meaning other than what we give it. But they're saying to me to look at it differently, because when you choose to look at it differently and options, there's going to be a bit of a light bulb moment in that of what to do to support you better through this. They're saying it's all going to be okay. Like, it's just they're saying it's going to be all okay. My curiosity also would be to have a look at okay. So the other thing that's popping into my head too is we go through 9-year cycles, and every 9 years in that 9-year cycles from 1 to 9, each of those years have got something to teach us, and we've got to learn from it. When we don't learn from our first 9-year cycles what we need to learn, we pick up those 9-year cycles and we drop it into our next one. The thing is, our next 9-year cycle's got stuff for us to learn as well. So then you're trying to learn what that 9-year cycle is as well as the other 9-year cycle, and it just keeps on going until you get it. I find that once you've got it and you actually hear this information, the last 3 years, like the 7, 8, and 9 of that 9-year cycle, can be quite heavy. It can be quite challenging, can be quite shit. It can feel like a deep depression. It can feel like you're confused. Your whole life just turns up topsy-turvy. Things go wrong. Things don't go right. And it's designed in that way because it's got to clear all the other 9-year cycles that you didn't clear the stuff that you need to clear from, as well as the current 9-year cycle. And it can be so heavy and so full on because they want you to clear everything you need to, so your next 9-year cycle is a lot smoother and a lot easier for you. So I would suggest looking up a website called creativenumerology.com. I found that she's one of the best ones to work out your numerology numbers. To work out your 9-year cycle, you're going the day that you were born, the month you were born, and the current year. So if you're born on, let's say, the 23rd of the 1st, you would be going 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus the current year, which is plus 2 plus 2, and then get the number. If you get 2 numbers, break it down to the 1 number. If you're needing help with this, Lauren, please reach out. I'm more than actually happy to help you with that. But it feels like there's something going on with your end of 9-year cycle, so I wouldn't be surprised if you're like either in your year 7, 8, or 9. But they're saying it's all going to work out. Like it's really going to work out. Like this is just going to be a blip of sand on a beach in 5 years' time, and it's all going to work out. But they're saying to look at it differently because it feels like there's different options there or something that are going to support you. So I'm not exactly sure what that is, but let me know. Okay, so Danielle, you have a question. When we die, are we greeted by loved ones? Depends. Um, if you've pissed a loved one off in real life, they're not going to want to come and help you on the other side. If you've had a great relationship with the loved ones, yeah, usually they come and actually help you and actually be with you. What I've found is usually when people are passing, they actually see their loved ones on the other side in order to help them feel calm about the whole process of crossing over. But what I've found by talking to the other people and what I've seen with watching people pass away, it usually is the loved ones that you've actually treated well are waiting there for you, but then it's the other side, the spiritual side, that are there to actually help you to take you to where you're meant to be on the other side. I hope that helps. My mum's very best friend passed away. They finally together again. Let me have a look into what's going on there. It doesn't feel like they've connected yet. What's going on? There feels like there's a little bit of a block between your mum and her friend connecting. Just let me have a look at it and see what the block is. So what they're saying is, it feels like one of them wanted to travel a little bit more. Did your mum, Danielle, did your mum's friend want to travel? Because it feels like she's off traveling a little bit more than she before she actually comes back and deals with this kind of space again. It feels like she had a pretty challenging, hard time in this lifetime as when like living as a human, and it feels like that now she's on the other side, there's a little bit more freedom. It feels like she'll be doing that for a little bit longer, and then I feel like they're just going to automatically connect. So yeah, I feel like she's sort of the friend's kind of putting a little bit of block on it just for the moment, just because she feels like she needs a little bit of her time and a little bit of travel time. But I don't feel like that's going to last forever, and it will change around. I hope that's helped. So the person is XAMXON. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. Ask me a question and I may be able to help you. It depends on what your question is. Hello to everybody. So I'm going to go to Rianne. Can you possibly give me any guidance on how to feel more at peace with myself and my decision making? Yes. It feels like to be more at peace with yourself, you need to do some grounding techniques. It feels like you're quite high up and you're not grounded enough. You can do things like, see tree roots out your feet, stand on the earth, actually put your tree roots into the earth, or you can actually see like an anchor going out your feet, going deep into the earth and actually wrapping around the center of the earth like 13 times. But it feels like the more at peace thing is a grounding issue. I will add that to the thing as well, anchoring. And I will send that as a PDF after this, because it's really important to make sure you're anchored up into the universe that goes right through your energy field as a human and anchoring into the earth. Otherwise, what happens is we can kind of swing around and it doesn't give us peace. But it feels like the more peace with yourself is a grounding thing. And with your decision making, it feels like you're a visual person, so you need to actually see your decision making. You need to actually see outcomes, results, that kind of stuff. My suggestion would be to, Google's fantastic. Get some pictures off Google about your decision makings that you make, and actually stick them around like on your mirror in your bathroom or something like that. So when you see that decision, you know you've made the right decision because you can actually see it, because it feels like you're very visual. Let me know how that goes, Rianne. If you need any help with finding more peace with yourself, usually it's an emotional issue that's in your brain. I can help you with that as well. Just reach out. Let's have a look at Belinda. Hope you're well. I'm really good, thank you. And I've been getting to go for motorbike rides, so that makes me happy. So I'm really well. I hope you're well too, Belinda. Oh, well, yes, Tasmania is a little bit further to come. She says she's missing our lovely space because she's in Tasmania. Yeah, just a little bit too far to travel. And for sure, I'll say hi to Beryl. Can you see if my studies are leading me in the right direction? Oh, that's a really interesting one. I feel like there's two parts to this question. I feel like the studies that you're doing is not going to be the direction that you end up taking, but I feel the studies that you're doing are needing to happen because they're teaching you skills in order to give you the tools that you're needing in to be able to go in the right direction. So there's two parts to it. You've got to keep going because it's giving you the skills and tools in order to have when you end up getting on that right direction. But it doesn't feel like what you're studying is quite the right direction. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Let me have a quick look. I'm aware of time. Hi, Kirsty, I think it is Kirsty. I'm shocking with names. I so apologize. I'm really bad with names. I know faces, and I can be able to recall what we actually discussed, 5 years ago if I met you at the Mind, Body, and Spirit. But names, I'm not fantastic with, so I apologize if I am not pronouncing them correctly. Hey, we have a very traumatic 18-month with our son and his mental health. It's had a huge effect on our daughters. Yeah, it would. My husband and myself, yeah, that makes so much sense, especially when one child's getting so much attention and has no choice to have that attention. I don't know if he's feeling happy with where he's at in life, as he doesn't like talking. I'm worried. Let me just have a feel into that. Okay. So, okay. So what they're saying and what it feels like to me is sometimes when we have a baby, sometimes souls come into that child ready to be in this life, and some souls try to fight to get into the one person, and sometimes there's actually a soul change over once a child's already here. I had one lady that was telling me about her grandson, I believe he was, and when I looked into it, I'm like, I can see him having a soul changeover. And she's like, what's going on? I said, I just see a soul change happening when he's like around 1. So it's like he'll have one kind of a personality, and then when he hits to sort of around 1, he'll have a different kind of personality. It's usually something that happens and he'll have a different kind of personality. It's like a soul changeover. Nothing to be freaked out about. They do it all the time. So quite often you don't even know that it's happening. But it feels like to me with your son, it feels like he's not quite integrated into the humanness of being a baby in this world as being a human. So what happens is some souls are so old, they've done generations, they've done years, they've done ions, they've done past lives, they've done so much that they think, cool, we're going to go again, and they go again, but they don't realize that they're going to come down and be a baby in a human body and have to learn how to, cry and poop and sleep and have to learn, and they can't be that wise, 90-year-old that has all the information. They've got all the information, but they're stuck in a baby's body. So it feels like to me that the soul hasn't entered incorrectly into your son, and because the soul hasn't entered incorrectly, there's like a pissed off war happening in that space. So just going back to that, the lady's grandson, she actually contacted me when he was I think he was just after 1 or just turned 1 or something like that. And she basically said to me, she goes, the weirdest thing has just happened. She goes, my son called me in the biggest panic because his parents didn't believe in all this woo-woo stuff. And the dad was freaked out because what had happened was he heard some noise in his son's room, went to open the door but couldn't open the door, like the door wouldn't open. And his son's not, as I said, he was either just after 1 or just before 1. But what he could see was like a white light underneath the door, but he couldn't get into the door. He couldn't get into the door, and there was noises and stuff like that. Anything like out of a movie, exactly like out of a movie. He was freaked out, like massively freaked out. Yet I wasn't, because I'm like, I knew that was when the soul was just changing over. So I explained that to the wife, to the grandmother, and she explained it to the parents. They're now believers because you can't dispute what they saw, and their son's actually a different personality. So it feels like to me, Kirsty, that your or Christy, that your son's soul hasn't quite entered into his body correctly. Um, ways to help. Ways to help. Do you know what? They're actually saying, like, you can do a little bit of a letter to that soul, to your son's soul. So write a little bit of a letter to your son's soul and explaining to that soul of, like, how much it's actually wanted and how much it's actually valued and appreciated and loved, and how much you're going to love it, and how much it belongs and it's going to fit and all the rest of it. Write a letter to that soul, and actually let it also know too that what it's doing at the moment is creating a huge issue with the whole household, and that's not acceptable either. But it feels like the soul really needs to know that it's going to be loved and nurtured and supported, very much about belonging, fitting in, that kind of stuff. And do a letter. I'd actually recommend burying that letter, even placing it under your son's bed, or that, blue tacking it under your son's bed. I know it sounds strange. Or you can bury it, whatever feels more appropriate. If you're going to bury it, I'd recommend getting a new plant and actually popping a new plant on the soil on the letter. It actually allows new growth. But it just feels like the soul needs a little bit of a chat too, because it feels like it needs to be reassured that it's actually going to be loved and supported, and the belonging and the fitting seems to be huge with this soul. If you need any help, reach out. I'm more than actually happy to help remotely, or you can pop into the shop if you're close. I can even Zoom. Zoom works as fantastic as well. Shit, I've got to go collect my son, so I'm going to answer one more thing. Sarah, do you see another pregnancy for me? Yes, I just feel like it's going to take a little bit of time. It's like your body needs a little bit of a downtime before that happens. Hey, Jake. Beck, does my ex still think of me? All exes think of each other. It's just a part of it. I would actually say that you're thinking more of him. But quite often what happens too, if you're thinking of him, it can be that he's thinking of you, which actually says to me that there's an energetic cord there that's not been cleaned properly. So I'll actually pop the cords piece of paper link down the bottom after this, and that'll actually help you with that. That's to Beck. No, I want to help you all, but I'm going to go collect my son. Hello, Julie. This is my first time here. Hey, Tina. Trina, Trina. Hello. First time here. If you're drawn to me, I'd be forever grateful. Thank you for sharing your gifts. I'm drawn to you, baby. Did you have a question? If you've got a question, just email me at Q&A@HappinessHeals.com.au and I can actually get it. Hey, Jules. Jules Clark. Thank you for loving the live. I'm actually enjoying doing them. Just curious, would love to hear anything. Anything. They're certainly tricky little things, they really are. Get the house sage, Julie. Get the house sage, get the house gridded, make sure it's actually really good. Clap the corners, it makes a huge difference. Oh, thank you that I can actually help, Rhiannon. Glad that helps. Alison told money. They're saying to stop spending it. I can't give you any more than that. Georgina, my business I have just started. I think it's going to get a little bit more tricky for a little bit, and then I'll actually start improving, Georgina. You just can't lose faith or hope. Georgina, Alexandra, find a piece of music that really resonates with you, that really vibes you up, that really gets you excited, and each day actually dance to that music, like really getting your body into the excitement of your business and that music that responds to your business. That'll actually help you to keep going, but it just feels like there's going to be a little bit of a tricky blah for a little bit more. Just keep going. Thank you. You're welcome so much, Christy, or Kirsty. I'm so sorry. I'm really bad with names. I'm dyslexic as F, just to let you know. Always have been. Cindy, my mum. Okay, this is going to be the last one because I've got to go. Cindy, my mum. Cindy, was your mum quite sad? It feels like there's a lot of sadness around your mum. How was she before she passed? Was there a lot of sadness in the family? It just feels like she's holding on to a little bit of sadness. I'm going to ask for the spiritual help to actually go to your mum, because it feels like she's still stuck in a little bit of sadness. If you can let me know if that resonates, because it's not fair for her to be in the sadness, which it feels like it's, you know, causing a bit of a ripple from the other side to this one. But yeah, it just feels like there's a little bit of sadness. If you're wanting a little bit more information, reach out, and I can actually help. I love you guys so much. I'm so excited that you're loving the lives. I'm loving the lives. As I said, I try to get here in the morning as much as possible. I think next week will be in the afternoon, only because I've got some overseas clients that I've got to work with. But it will be there. If you have any questions, as I said, I answer the Q&As to my emails first. So it's Q&A@HappinessHeals.com.au, or you can send me a PM. I so look forward to seeing you next week. I'm Julie. Love, loves, keep safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.